Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Guitar Basics week number 4. As usual, we're going to start off with a spider exercise. Now this one is going to go, and just so we remember, it's 1 finger per fret. It's going to go index finger, pinky, second finger, third finger. So it should sound like this. And as with the other spider exercises, we're going to play that from the low E to the high E. Then we're going to scoot up 1 fret. We're going to repeat the same pattern, and we're going to descend back to the low E string. Take that exercise and play it all the way up to the 12th fret. As usual, grab your kitchen timer, set it to 2 minutes, put your metronome on, see how many repetitions you can get. Okay, now our scale for today is basically combining our 2 pentatonic scale patterns from the last 2 weeks. So we're going to be using part of minor pentatonic pattern 1 and part of the minor pentatonic pattern 2. The scale will look a little like this and sound a bit like this. Now, as you noticed, I did steal 1 note from pattern 5, which we haven't covered yet, but don't worry too much about that. Now, as with pattern 1, where our root note was under the index finger, I guess, what we're going to do is we're going to place our third finger there instead. So in this case, the tonical root note will be under our third finger, and we're going to play, if we run through this, it's going to be our third finger, in this case in the key of A minor on the 5th fret, followed by our index finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're then going to do a position shift by sliding our index finger up to the 5th fret, and then we're going to follow the rest of pattern 1 on the A, the D and the G strings like this. So it's going to go index finger to 3rd finger, index finger to 3rd finger, and then when we get to the G string, we're going to do another position shift. So we're going to go from our index finger on the 5th fret, we're going to go up to the 7th fret, then we're going to place our 3rd finger on the 9th fret. This is where we sort of jump into pattern number 2. Then our index finger is going to scoot over another fret, and we're going to play the 8th fret on the B string, followed by the 10th fret, and do the same thing on the high E. I'll play it nice and slow from top to bottom. Now the thing to remember with this one is our root notes or our tonics under our index finger, or in this case, sorry, our 3rd finger. On the 5th fret in A minor, we've then got our root note on the D string, which will be under our 3rd finger, 7th fret. And then we've got another root note up here on the 10th fret of the B string. So try and keep an eye on that. Remember that our formula for minor pentatonic is root, minor 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7, back to root note. Okay, now we have our legato exercise for the week. Now this little guy is going to incorporate this sort of combined or mash up of pentatonic scales that we just let. And it's going to sound nice and slow, a little bit like this. Now, if you did last week, so week number 3, the first part of this pattern is exactly the same, with the exception that instead of being a triplet, we're going to play it as 8th notes. So what we're doing, if we take those, I guess the pattern on the high E string, we're going to do a pick note from the 8th fret, then we're going to hammer on to the 10th fret and pull off. We're then going to pluck the 10th fret on the B string, and we're going to pull off to the 8th fret. We're going to pick the 9th fret on the G string. We're then going to do a hammer on and pull off from the 8th fret of the B string. Slide down to the 5th fret on the B string. Then we're going to pluck the 7th fret on the G string and then do a pull off to the 5th fret. We're then going to repeat that, do the same thing on the D string, and we're going to just continue that little 2-string pattern. So we're going to go back, we're going to pluck the 7th fret on the D string and pull off to the 5th fret, and do the same thing on the A string, and then we're going to repeat that same little pull off pattern. So we're going to go 7th fret, pull off to the 5th, slide down to the 3rd, and finish up on the root note under our 3rd finger on the 5th fret. that pattern for you once more. So that is our little legato exercise for the week. Our last exercise or lick is our bending lick. Now this one is in the key of D. We're using minor pentatonic scale pattern 1 as we did for the last few. And it'll sound like this. So to play this lick, we're going to take the highest note in pattern 1 on the B string, in this case the 13th fret on the B string. We're going to bend it up a tone. We're going to do a quick bend, release, and bend. We're then going to pluck the 10th fret on the high E string, the 13th fret on the B string, and then we're going to pull off to the 10th fret. We're then going to bend the 12th fret on the G string up a tone, pluck the 10th fret on the B string, and then we're going to pluck again the 12th fret on the G string and pull off to the 10th fret, pluck the 12th fret on the D string, down to the 12th fret on the G string, and then finish up with our index finger on the 10th fret of the G string and give it a little wiggle. So it'll sound like this once again. I'll do it slow. There you have it. There's our exercises for week 4. I hope you have fun with this. If you do, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below on how you're going with these exercises. And remember, don't slack off. Practice a little bit every day, even 5 minutes. But if you can consistently do it every day, you are going to get better. See you next week for our next weekly practice routine. Ciao.